Every day you wake up, the world has changed just a little bit more. New tools, new industries, new expectations. And if you've ever felt like your degree, your role, or even your skills are starting to feel outdated, you're not alone. In fact, the World Economic Forum states that 85% of jobs that people will do in 2030 haven't even been created yet. Think about that. How do you prepare for the jobs that are not existing yet, that are non-existent yet? Recently, I was invited to speak at a global community called the Monday Morning Motivation. This is a community that's been running for about 6 years now, and it has almost 6,000 members worldwide. The topic I was asked to speak on was very close to my heart: future-proofing your career in an uncertain world. Now, in this episode, I want to share the essence of that talk, bring in some reflection from the question and answer session, and most importantly, give you practical tools that you can start using this week to keep yourself relevant, adaptable, and future ready. So when I introduced myself at the Monday Morning Motivation, I shared something about my journey. How I started out in mechanical engineering, moved into civil engineering, and then narrowed my focus down to transportation engineering. And along the way, I discovered that survival in today's world isn't just about sticking to one box, it's about reinvention. So while I was pursuing my engineering, I was also experimenting with entrepreneurship, with trade, and with research, and with technology. And I realized the truth. In a changing world, the people who thrive are those who keep adapting, learning, and growing. And the reality is, let me just chip in a reality check. So many people still feel left behind, and I believe there are three main reasons as to why people feel left behind. The first reason is, among the three reasons that people still feel like outcasts or outlaws in this working era, is outdated skills. Number one is outdated skills. Many of us are still relying on what worked, let's say, in the 2008 or 2010. But today's world demands new skills. Imagine clinging to the typewriter when computers are already here. And the second thing is job security over career agility. Now, career agility is just, the ease of you to switch between in industries. Now, too many people focus on protecting a job title instead of building agility. Job titles can vanish, but agility keeps you moving across roles, industries, and opportunities. And then the third reason that people are being left behind is waiting too long to adapt. We wait until it's too late. It's like ignoring calculators when they first arrive, saying they won't affect my industry, only to wake up years later and realize you've been left behind. So if you wait until every classroom has the calculator, then you've already missed the moment. The thing is, the danger isn't about being outdated. It's about being outdated before you even realize it. So then, what are the three? I introduced three pillars of future-proofing yourself during that meeting, and I still want to reiterate those three pillars here on the show, because maybe more people can hear also this. Number one, the first thing that you can do is spot trends early. Follow industry reports, follow World Economic Forum updates, or follow LinkedIn thought leaders, and even use the Discover feed on your own browser, because it is important to stay ahead. Now, you can spend 10 minutes a day scanning one trusted source, and that's how you can probably see the future before it arrives. And the second thing is skill adaptability. Now, we have to learn how to blend hard technical skills. These are technical expertise with soft skills such as leadership and all that. Because we have to understand that technical knowledge is crucial, but leadership, communication, and creativity can make you versatile in today's world. So for example, let's say if you're in civil engineering, right, you can learn something like project finance. If you're in marketing, you can learn the basic data analytics. This is just that essence of you try to build bridges between disciplines, not only sticking to your, should we say, the indigenous field or something, but you can find anchoring skills, adjacent skills, and you input them into your everyday life. And then the third important tool for future-proofing your career is build brand and networking. Now, you can share your knowledge online or offline, right? And then because this will help you to build trust before even you need it. And then it will help you also to collaborate across cultures. Because the more you try to share your expertise on things, that's when you become a thought leader. You become a thought leader in that field, like how I am sharing. Yeah. So that's what I've actually, to be honest, that's what I've done with OC and Scout Pack. Many of the opportunities I have received came not just because of, I was the smartest or what, but because people trusted my work and they trusted my values. Today I meet people and probably they didn't know I was the one behind OC or something, and they're always like, yeah. Let's say if I'm tasked with a certain responsibility, people tend to trust because they have seen the work that I have done, or they have heard from other people. So that's the effect of personal brand and networking. Future proofing is not just about learning faster, it's about being known for who you are and what you bring. Who you are and what you bring. Who you are, your personal brand, what you bring, the network, the experience, the professionalism, the expertise, and all that. That's how you future-proof yourself in today's ever-changing world. Now, before we go any further, I just want you to get a hint or hear the question and answer from the meeting, and also hear about the short discussion we had about AI, prompt engineering, and vibe coding, and maybe I'll come back and we can continue the session. But remember that it's important to pay attention to the three things: spot trends early, learn adjacent skills, and then personal brand and networking for future proof. So today we're just going to talk about simple stuffs that we can do to future proof our career, especially in these changing times, because now every day you wake up, probably yesterday and today they are not the same. And so we're just going to talk about some few things. And last I checked was a report from World Economic Forum, and it just stated that 85% of jobs that exist in 2030, probably they have not been created yet. Why is that? Probably because of the next fact that AI and automation are rewriting our career path. So the question that arises is, how do we stay now relevant in this ever-changing landscape? So my name is Iman, as I said, and I have a basic I have done mechanical engineering, I have done civil engineering, and now I'm more researched into transportation engineering. Still civil engineering, but if you may say. But along the way, I am learning that broader skills it's important to have more skills, more than just what you're doing or which industry you're in. And so I have transitioned to entrepreneurship, I have transitioned to research, I have transitioned to trade and even technology. Yeah. All of this is, you can see that from the pictures, there are a lot of things that I try to do. So I think the aspect here which is important is just reinventing oneself, being able to, continue to adapt and grow, especially in these changing times. And I think the problem why we are getting left behind and we feel that we do not belong nowadays, the three core problems I have come to realize is we are relying on outdated skills, things that worked in the 2008, 2001, and so on. We are relying on that. But today's changing world requires us to have something new. And then most people are maybe focused on job security instead of being able to have that career agility, and which means your opportunities are limited. And career agility just means you can try new roles, industries in the same aspect, as well as people tend to wait too long to adapt, which means you'll be outdated in either way if you are too late, because people who accepted that the calculators were not impacting their industry, that's how they became at the top of their game. So today I just want to share three pillars that I think we can use in this new week or in this new upcoming month. And the three pillars that we can use to have that career relevance, I think first thing is to being able to spot trends early, and then you must be able to adapt. Your skills must be adaptable, or your skills must be able to adapt to the changing environment, as well as
I feel it's important to still talk about personal brand and networking. And when we say spot trends early, it just means you try to follow trends, you try to follow industry reports or thought leaders. I have some practical ways that I try to stay relevant, and that's including the one I mentioned from World Economic Forum or other industry newsletters. You can follow LinkedIn trends or discover the feed in your Chrome, which is very simple. On my Chrome, I actually get these recommendations and I read a lot of them. And so it's an interesting way. As well as for the skill adaptability, it's important to combine hard and soft skills right now, because and hard skills, we are talking about the technical expertise, but for the soft skills, because we know leadership and communication is it's best to have these things well in your kit. I was about to say in your startup kit. And then it's important also in whatever industry that you are, try to learn some adjacent skills. Whatever that complements your current role, it's important to learn that. And for the personal brand and creating a network that is lasting, you need to try and share knowledge online and offline so that you create trust before you even need it, as well as trying to create collaborations across different cultures, as what I'm doing here is part of my personal brand and networking, and that's why I think it's important to do this. So we're going to do a small task, because I had Monday Motivation is all about practicality, and we're going to try a self-assessment protocol. And what we have to do is trying to assess skills and gaps, and then trying to map out opportunities and trends, and then we'll plan for a quarterly learning and networking goals. So in the current time, let's try to name one skill that you should learn, you feel it's important to learn this year. And maybe if you can write it in the chat, and if I can see, we'll try to talk about them. Name this skill, just one skill that you think it's important. And this is how we are going to measure the practical wins, which means when you learn one in-demand skill in the next 90 days, it will keep you, it should be relevant, and it enhances your resume. As well as within that aspect is you have to try and attend maybe one cross-industry event per month, online or offline, and then try to network with these people, as well as trying to create leadership content that is valid in your industry. So that's about it, about me sharing, and Rosanna can come back and do the practical aspect of M, because it's more about practical, so we can discuss.
Sure, thanks so much. So in the chat, I put in a couple of comments based on your previous question, and Blessed also put a comment as well. So both are related to AI. So what I wrote was so it was based on your previous question, which was, what are some actual practical skills we can learn to stay relevant? And I wrote how to dialogue effectively with AI chats, such as ChatGPT, how to code. Blessed wrote AI, and Sam Martin wrote, right now I'm trying to learn social media skills. I'm very guilty of having outdated skills and procrastinating in adaptation. Thank you for your honesty, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Actually, I did more a couple of a podcast series which talks more about the AI and dialogue effectively with the agents like the ChatGPT and large language models, or even audio models. It's important to always clarify the context. The context is very important when you are talking with these large language models, because they are trained on general information. And so if you want it to be able to tailor to a specific need, you have to give it a background, a context. The context is like the background information. So let's say you want to improve some skills, so you can probably start with a prompt like you are a professional self-improvement coach and or a career coach, and I want to be able to improve my skills or know what skills specifically should I improve in the next 90 days. And so far I can do this. You just list the things that you can do. And if you have any certification or some sort of strength in some area, you have to list it so that it's able now to create a career path that is perfectly matching to your needs, not general information. And like if you try Gemini actually has built-in, they have created these things called gems, and the gems are actually something that they already, you don't need to write again, you're a career coach, but it's something already created for that specific area. And what you just need to provide is just the context of what do you want the AI to help you with. And I think that's all about prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is just about being able to provide the context, being able to provide the initial resources so that the agent can give you a feedback about what you need. And the vibe coding aspect, it's also something that's relevant because that's what I'm also doing. I'm actually creating one of the Scout Path Opportunities Hub, and I've completely created it by vibe code and not paying anything. It's just free. I'm just doing it on a free basis with the daily limited credits. And what you need to just do in the vibe code, the first thing that I can say is you go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever and explain your idea of what you want to do. Like if it's an app, if it's a website you want to create, just tell it, and then tell it to give you a prompt that you'll be able to put in the vibe coding app. And when you go to the vibe coding app, before you start vibe coding, there's usually a feature at the bottom, probably of many vibe coding. It's called discuss or chat mode. And when you put in the prompt and then you let the vibe code agent now create steps, tell it to create steps onto which it will it will implement your idea. And once it creates the steps, then you just give it permission now to go, but you now change back to build mode, whereby you let the agent now begin building, but it will build based on the plan that it has already showed you. So you don't have to, because if you put, let's say I'm trying to build an app, and my app, the Scout Path Opportunities Hub, is a resource platform for entrepreneurs and startups and something like that. So I couldn't put all the prompts of the whole idea into the vibe coding because at this point I was using Lovable. And so what I did is on ChatGPT, I had talked to ChatGPT, explained the idea which I want to do, and told it to give me a prompt. And then I went to Lovable, but I also, at that moment, I opened the chat mode, and I let Lovable create a plan that it will begin to implement so that it doesn't, because credits are limited, especially if you're using the free versions. So you let it create a plan, and then you allow it now to begin implementation. And it will start with the basics, and later on you continue iterating by using prompts. Like if you don't like the interface that you're seeing, you can change. And there are many agents. There's Lovable, there's Bolt, there's also I've tried to use Emergent, which is pretty cool. And there's another one called let me see on my browser, because I probably have all of them open. Oh yes, there's Replit, there's yes, so there's a lot of things that you can actually achieve with this. And recently I've discovered the Base 44, which was an independent company, and then it was bought by Wix. And so it's good for building, let's say, personal websites, because I'm actually building my personal websites through there. And it's pretty cool. And I hope that answers your questions, both of your questions. Yep. And I see Sam wrote, how would you suggest learning one in-demand skill? I'm terrible at seeing where technology is going and what in demand. Pretty cool. So we have this online kind of, how to say, probably let's say something like Forbes or as I said, World Economic Forum. There's one report I actually read from the World Economic Forum and then went on, to dive about this concept, and I actually discovered that they had written the important skills that you can learn in these few coming years, and most of the skills were soft skills at that point, if I remember correctly. And I actually, on my podcast, I talked more about this for the next probably 30 years or something, because AI is somehow doing the technical things right now. And so but humans, we will always want that human connection in whatever that we do. And so it's important to learn some skills such as leadership skills, empathy, what other skills. All of that side of the human connection kind of skills. Yes, that will help us to be able to still bring the humane side. Because if you look at, let's say, if you're using ChatGPT, if you're using Gemini, if you're using Anthropic, Cloud, if you use whatever the platform is, you will know that all of these, they tend to give it from pre-engineered answers, and sometimes it may not be able to connect with you empathetically. Is that the right word here? And so it's important for humans now to continue to equip themselves in this area. But also, one thing that I think is important is learning how to orchestrate the AI, being able to prompt, being good at prompting, being good at giving these instructions to the AI. It's important because AI is doing a lot of things, but who is going to being able to give it directions? So learning prompting engineering or AI orchestration is something that I think I myself am very optimistic about, and I tend to give more of my learning time there. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Sam. All right, thank you. Or can I ask a question? Yes. How would you help someone who has never worked and probably still in school to identify their skills and even get to improve them as well as adapted in this world? Also, maybe I can first ask the first part of the question. The part B is how to identify a particular need in a country or a city that could be a source of income as well. And the first part, how would I help someone who has never worked? So when I started, I also never worked. I never worked, but while in school, I was still doing my entrepreneurship endeavors. And actually, in my bachelor's is when I started my brand OC. And I think it's how to be able to, when you're in school, it's the time that you get to learn more. I feel like that's the moment we get to equip ourselves with more knowledge, especially when we're talking about this in-demand skills or whatever. Right now, when we are in school, is the moment where we get to invest heavily in learning these things. And it is also a time where we can try and fail, because we still have a path that is it's like a safety net that we can still rely on, right? Which is different from someone who has already finished and need to win it at that moment. They don't have a safety net to fall on, and so you're fully committed to the goal. But as a student, you have a chance to try and fail. So it's a trial and error process, which means to identify your skills, as I say, right now it's even getting easier by the day, which by what do I mean by that is you can go to an AI thing and provide a context of what you want or who you want to become, so that you have and to Rosanna's, I think I'll add what about the prompting to the agents, is that you have to dedicate each different chats to different works. And now I'll go back to Blessed's question. Yes, you have to dedicate different chats for different tasks. And so go to an AI and just let it kind of be a career guide, a career coach, an easier and the first career guide, because probably you're a student and you cannot pay for a professional, but you can at least use these free resources that are around, and they can help you to identify skills that are going to be that you are lacking or you should improve on, and you can use it also to spot trends. Because if you, let's say you read a report and you're able to synthesize the findings in the report and give it to, let's say, to the agent and say, okay, which one do you think is the good way to go about right now? I'm in my 4th year and I have research on my hand, I have a thesis on my hand, and at the same time I want to improve. So can you help me create this 3-month plan to be able to improve on some sort of skills and all that? And because these skills that you're gaining will be useful in internship or in the career path that you'll choose after you graduate. And identifying a particular need in a city or country. So I live far from my home country, but when I just walk around, because of where I come from, I try to correlate the environments. And the easiest thing that I'm noting is that when I look at the surroundings that I am in at the moment, I notice that the development pattern is on some sort of direction. And this is what they do here. This is what they do here. Can it be replicated in my home? Can I do the same thing? Or what is the behavior back home? And that's what I try to use as a measure, because there's a benchmark. There's always a benchmark that we can use to compare things. And so your city probably doesn't have things like things that are already present here. So you see what is happening. Let's say if you're in China, you can see what is happening here in China. And you look at your hometown, or home country, and you see the behavior, the patterns. Do they match? Do they correlate? And if yes, then probably there's something that can be replicated from here, adopted to your home environment. And I think that it gives you like a big start, a jump start, where you are ahead of your peers who are in your country. I think that's my way of, unless otherwise, if you're living exactly in your home country, then you look at what are people always complaining about. It can be the simplest of things, like people are saying it's always expensive to send money to a friend or a colleague, and that gives us an opportunity to try and solve that need, right? Something very easy as that. Or it can be someone is saying, I always have to wait so long when I want to, I cannot order food online, I have to wait so long with these delivery processes and all that. Nobody can be trusted. That gives you an opportunity as to try down this path of career in the courier industry, last mile delivery, whereby you are a reliable provider.
Well, thanks so much for all of that wisdom and knowledge and help, Iman. I think for myself at least, I found it really helpful, and you're able to actually condense your answers to so many questions in a relatively short period of time, I think. So what I'm learning from you here is, when speaking with AI, it's very important to provide the context in terms of the chat and in terms of the prompt.
Right.
Try out the different kinds of AIs and see the different pros, cons, styles of each, which one might be a better fit for you.
Right.
And adapt your prompt according to each of these. Yeah, I think Sam has a really great comment regarding your answers in the chat as well. She's saying, great ideas, Emmanuel. Thank you. I love the reminder that school is a safe space to practice trying and falling. And Lillian is saying AI is not like a human being, but the key is how to use AI for our work. I think that's a really insightful comment from both Sam and from Lillian. What do you think of that?
Thank you. Yes. I think I like what Lillian said, because AI is not an enemy, especially any technological development is not an enemy, but how we use it is what makes us different. It's what makes us different. And I think being able to utilize AI to maximize your outputs, it's very important. Thank you very much, Lillian. And Sam, also thank you for for capturing that reminder. I think when we're in school, we can try and fail, because we still have something else going on the right hand side, which after some time, when you finish this portion, you can no longer try. Although, I feel like the entrepreneurship path is always try and error and try and fail and all that, but you don't get to experiment maybe with many ideas at the same time. Also, you have to choose one, stick to it, let it work. Yeah, I think that's a good way. Yes, I agree. We don't know until we're out of the school. That's when we're like, I should have done that. I should have learned something else before leaving school. But then it's too late. But still, I think even if you're not in school and you have those spare moments, 1 hour or 2 hours to always read something, to always learn something new. It's important. Whatever books that I read nowadays, I find some books they were written before AI became a hot topic, but some of them were predicting all of this noise. And so if you're able to spare minutes, few hours every day or every week, or to learn something, I think it can accumulate into an outcome. It can have an outcome.
Yeah, thanks so much for pointing that out, Iman. Actually, I think that goes really well with a follow-up question I wanted to ask, and I feel like others might have this question too, which is, in school, you're right, we do have this really great opportunity to always try, fail, try again, fail, and learn from our mistakes.
Right.
Once we graduate, it might be a bit harder to do this, but do you have any recommendations for how we can still continue to have this sort of growth mindset, still feel okay to try and fail, once we do graduate? So you talked about reading, learning through reading. Are there any practical tips that you can provide for us?
Because after school, you're probably occupied with your own life. You have probably a family that depends on you. So your time is kind of stretched thin. So whatever, I realize that it doesn't matter how big or how little time you get that is belonging to yourself, your personal time. I feel like you should learn it. You should use it to test and improve. And one way that you're improving is by reading or by doing this. And to test, I mean, you try to build things that you have always fascinated you, that have just tried to still build. Don't grow out of your passions that were always fueling you to feel like you're living a fulfilled life. Just still get some minutes to try, because nowadays, especially with the aspect that you just mentioned, let's say for vibe coding, nowadays every person who is working full-time on one side can still do a side hustle that they can try to build an extra source of income, because the entrepreneurial field is being leveled. The learning field is being leveled. Resources, how to learn nowadays, there's a bunch of resources that you can learn, and you can break it down. As we are talking today so much about, let's say, AI nowadays can break a complex topic into the easiest of fundamentals. Let's say if you just say, I want to learn by first principle thinking. If you're able to state that, I want to learn from first principles thinking, it means the AI will take a very complex task and simplify it to the basic. And if you say, I want to learn by first principles thinking, and you can ask me questions so that I get to do that in introspection, I get to learn things that were even I didn't know that I already know. It means you'll be able to continue to expand on what you always thought was the basic, or what you always thought was hard. Probably you just never had to revisit that thought in your head and all that.
Thanks so much for following up with this and answering it again very thoroughly too. So a lot of it is just like making the most that we have out of the time that we do have, and realizing that there's so many resources out there now that's kind of leveled the playing field. I think this goes quite well with the MMM slogan of, stop making excuses.
Right.
And in the chat, we've got a few comments from Lillian and from Sam. So from Lillian, she's saying, I just learned that how to make a public speaking more successfully and learn how to play an instrument in these years. You're really amazing, Lillian. Great job. Sam is saying, are there some good AI apps that work on phones and tablets, or do they all need to be used on computer? And Sam, I don't know anything about AI. I think that's a really good question though, because a lot of people are probably wondering this. And before I give the floor back to you, Iman, I'm going to read Lillian's next comment. AI cannot do the atomic habit and can't do the social communication. Very insightful and true.
Okay. I'll start with I think it's interesting how Lillian said that she's learning how to make public speaking more successful and learn how to play an instrument these years. It's very good. It's very nice when you try to do the things that you always thought they are so big, they are so grand, and yet you try to do them despite of what you think if time has passed or not. And for some, there's some good AI apps that work on phones. Yes, I'm probably all of them are competing in making apps, mobile apps, because they want to have more users, and they realize that not all 7 billion or 8 billion people now use laptops or desktops. So there are a lot of ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, and the other one is called what's the name of the other one for searches? Perplexity. They all have apps. They all have apps that you can use on mobile phone instead of only relying on the desktop or web versions. So yes, they do have, except for the ones that for building, the ones like Lovable, Bolt, as we said, Emergent, or so on and so on. Those ones you have to use the web versions because it's kind of built on the web. It's a web app, so you have also to use it on the web. Yeah, they don't have currently. I don't think they have mobile versions. Yes. And Lillian said AI cannot do the atomic habit and can do the social communication. Correct. I agree. This still needs the human side to be able to achieve this. Yes. AI is just kind of who tells you what to do, but won't be there to do it with you. You'll probably have to put on the by yourself as well. But the instructions and the manual and everything, you can do it. And one thing is, like, I have tried before. I didn't have anybody to direct me on how to do some of the experiments that I had to do before. And I did was just I sometimes I had to even take pictures of some difficult complex machines that I was not under. What kind of a machine is this? And sometimes I had to take a picture and ask, okay, which machine is this and how does it operate? And then it links me to the instruction and I get the name of the machine, which in turn I can go to YouTube and learn about operating machine. And I think that's the job that is AI just simplifies how we to learn or do some tasks. And all at the end, we have to do that, especially the connected tasks until the point where humanoid robots will be many, which means still the social connection won't be there. So yeah, that's my contribution. That's my take.
All right, Iman, thank you so much for sharing your insights, knowledge, and wisdom. And it seems quite clear to me that you've played around with quite a few of these AIs, these different kinds of LLMs, and you're kind of seeing what works, what doesn't work. So LLMs, for those who might not know, are the language learning models. That includes ChatGPT and a lot of the ones that you named, like Anthropic and DeepSeek as well.
Right.
I think Gemini as well too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really great hearing from you and your insights about it, because it sounds like you kind of play with a lot of them, and for you it seems like it's a little bit of fun, adventure, knowledge, and learning as well, right?
Right, because one of the things that I was lacking, especially even in entrepreneurship side, is lacking the technical founder or technical capacity to execute some of the things. And so when I started seeing AI coming up, and there's this opportunity that you can do the technical things as well by using it. So I was very interested, and I just took more time to learn how to operate this so that I get the most outcome without even having a technical co-founder and all that.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's really great. Kind of like applying this mindset to learn yourself. I
Yeah.
hear Lillian, she's raised her hand. Here, Lillian, feel free to turn on your mic and speak.
Hi, good morning, email. This is Lillian. And I really like today's motivation about AI. And I really learn a lot with you. And I just want to say thank you for sharing that wonderful presentation today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and for me, sometimes I like to use AI to write down my company's speech, and and also trying to mention a new hobby. That I said I playing the electric piano, but not very well. And I just wanted to use my power to inspirations kind of afraid of public speaking and also making some progress about myself.
Interesting how you're using AI in all these areas and to just improve different aspects of yourself and your I think it's good, a very good move. Congratulations on that, Lillian.
Thank you, Samuel, and hopefully I can listen in your podcast next time.
Thank you.
All right, so yeah, thank you so much for sharing, giving your comments, your insights, observations as well, Lillian. And of course to you too, Iman. I was wondering if anybody else has any more questions. If so, feel free to unmute your mic, ask the questions, or type something into the chat. We've still got a few more minutes of our MMM talk for this morning. And yeah, it would be really great to kind of see anybody else with their questions too. But if not, of course, then I hope then today's webinar was very helpful. Oh, I've got a quick question for you, Iman. So where's the best place for us to contact you if we have any things that we think of later?
Okay, if anyone wants just to ask me anything or just chat with me, you can find me on Tuesdays on my podcast, every day on my WeChat or WhatsApp or Instagram, not so much. Yeah, LinkedIn, I mean, all places, and probably in the future have my own website where you can just talk to me there. But yeah, I have all of this, you can get me, or my email also, emmanuelsaitoti@outlook.com. So yeah, you can scan any of this and I'm in there.
All right, perfect. I've also got your WeChat. Do you mind if I share your WeChat contact card in our MMM WeChat groups as well?
No problem.
Okay, great. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact Emmanuel through these different socials that he's provided. I'm going to send the screenshot of this slide into the MMM groups right now too. And then I will also share Emmanuel's WeChat contact card in the chats as well. So yeah, feel free to add him, ask him any questions. I think, Iman, we've spoken and talked so it's been a couple of years now, right?
Yes, yes.
Good no topics, by the way. Excuse me?
I'm saying good topics. We've talked about good topics.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being part of today's topic too. And Iman is very friendly, everybody. Very friendly, very kind. Don't need to worry about him. He's really, really very kind, very open and receptive to helping as well. So if anybody wants to reach out at all, I highly encourage it. And Lillian is saying thanks for the presentation. Learned a lot, appreciate it. Sam is saying another fantastic quote, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Yes. And Lillian saying roger that. Yes. Thank you so much for today's talk. Thank you so much for sharing all of this insightful knowledge with us, Iman. Any final words you want to say to close off today's talk?
I think I'm trying to think of what to say, but yeah, playing is the best way to discover. Playing with the tools, playing with searching. The best way to search is by trying. I mean, playing in the aspect of like try and error. So yeah, just try. We have time. As long as you still have breath, it's a good thing to play with the resources that you have and see what yield to the results that you need. Testing, playing and all that. Yes.
Oh yeah, really, really beautiful. And I like how you phrase it as playing. Some people might kind of phrase it as, oh, okay, this is another thing I need to learn, another thing I need to do, another chore to cross off.
Yes. If it doesn't work, I'm playing because if you discover one thing is not working, you can always iterate and change and try something new. And that means by the end of 1 year or 2 years, you'll have experimented with different things, and That's why I say it's playing, because it's not like a chore you have to do forcibly, like, do I have to do it? No, you have to do while you're enjoying it. You're enjoying it. Yeah. So yeah, try to play.
Yeah, you're right, including this element of joy and play. So yeah, I like that phrase. Playing with the tools is the best way to learn the tools too.
So what I've loved about that moment in the show was the moment that I just shared in the recording, was the honesty that people had. People admitted to procrastinating or feeling stuck with outdated skills. These were just of the few people who were able to chip in the comments. But I believe more people we all face these kind of things where we are not so sure. The thought in our mind is telling us, no need, and we can't do that. And then we also shifted into something as practical as to how to ask ChatGPT the right question. And I think these are just simple everyday things, but these are concurrent or currently happening in our world. So it's important. And that's actually the real essence of all of this. Future proofing isn't just about abstract theory. It's about the daily habits. It's just about the daily simple habits that you can do to just be ahead. How you use tools, how you test ideas, how you stay curious, and all of this all together, these things, they make you resilient. They make you, should we say, a pioneer, or they give you a leap ahead. You can leap ahead if you pay attention to these small things. How you use the current available tools, how you test your ideas in the environment or the period or something like that. I want now to walk you through a simple framework that I still shared in the MMM on how to do a self-assessment in the next 90 days. Now, I want you to also think of it today as a 90-day challenge to future-proof your career, right? The first thing that I want you to do in the next 90 days, learn one in-demand skill. Just learn one in-demand skill. Just learn one in-demand skill and see how you can utilize it. And then the second thing I want you to still do, this is you in the in-demand skill. This is you putting yourself, learning an adjacent skill, right? And then I want you to do number 2 is attend one cross-industry event maybe per month, because 90 days meaning 3 months, right? So one event per month, online or offline, just to expand your perspective. This will help you to spot trends early, and this will help you to network and build a personal brand, And then the third thing I want you to do in the next 90 days is create a piece of content that establishes your voice and shares what you're learning currently or what you have learned currently. And this will also create a personal brand. It's a voice. It will begin to share your voice to more people into knowing the type of person you have. It can be a blog, it can be an article, it can be a post, a LinkedIn post or something like that. And just do these 3 steps. And if you stay consistent, I think you'll not only feel more relevant, but you'll actually become more visible and valuable. You'll feel more visible and valuable in today's challenging world or changing world and all that. That's about it for this episode. I just wanted to bring the ideas I got from the MMM, or I shared in the MMM, and just bring them to you, the audience, now. And then to close up all of this talk and all that, I just want you to do one thing this week. Don't just ask yourself, how secure is my job? Try to ask yourself, how adaptable is my career? Just change the question. How secure is my job? Instead of saying that, just say, how adaptable is my career? How agile am I? Yes, that's the right word to put there. How agile am I? Because jobs will change, right? Industries will disappear, but your ability to learn, to adapt and lead, that's the seed that will always continue to grow. That's the seed that will always grow. So, that's the challenge. Pick one skill you'll commit to learning in the next 90 days, and share one piece of content also that will give you a thing. And then, just if you start today, then you can begin to, you can try, sit back and watch how this habit, it can transform your confidence and relevance in the next 90 days. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the SelfSeed podcast, wherever you're listening from. probably Spotify or Apple Podcast or YouTube Music or Amazon Music, wherever that you're listening from, probably Riffally, probably AfriPods, probably any platform that you're listening from, or you're listening to from the web, selfseed.transistor.fm. But don't forget to subscribe. And thank you for, I just want to express my thanks to you for listening, to tuning into this episode. But most importantly, thanks to the MMM Monday Morning Motivation Community for hosting me and asking such powerful questions. And I think that's among of the steps that I am proud to always, share and learn from like-minded people, because you continue to fuel my passion, you continue to fuel my endeavor. If this episode actually sparked something in you, just share it with a friend or a colleague that is questioning about how to start today to be ready for the future that is. Well, the future is coming. So yeah, to be ready for the future. And I'd love to hear from you anytime. You can just send me a direct message, or if you want to be featured also on the podcast, you have some thoughts that we could share together on the podcast, also you can just send me an email or tag the SelfSeed with the skill that you're committing to. Until next Tuesday, keep growing, keep adapting, and keep planting seeds for the future. Keep planting those seeds for the future. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.